here head filling machine, and we are going to fill this room with the compost today. Now I will explain what we have on a filling machine. We will start with shafts that we have here when compost exit a filling machine. We have 4 shafts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes some machines can have 5 of them. Let's see what they do. First one, which is here, it's a shaft for caking, compost added to casing soil. This shaft take compost and throw it to the surface of casing soil, which fall from this conveyor. Then compost with casing goes there, and this shaft is mixing shaft that mix caking inside casing soil. So this shaft turns in the same direction as compost with casing goes, and mix compost inside casing soil. This shaft can be moved up and down, and we set it in a way that it doesn't touch compost. It only mixes casing soil. On some machines, some head filling machines, we don't have a caking valve, and this shaft can also take some compost and mix it inside the casing, doing this casing. Next shaft, this one, make surface of casing soil smooth. So if some holes appear or some casing above the level, it's leveling shaft. It makes surface uniform. And the last one, it's like pressing valve. It's just make surface smooth and push small particles to the level of the casing. Sometimes when we want to have structure bigger, we like move it up and don't use it. Sometimes we put it on a surface of casing soil. This is all of these shafts can be adjusted by level, and also on speed can be adjusted. The faster they move. Here now we have set up ready for filling the room. We have truck with the compost, phase 3 compost in a bulk. This truck came here from Ukraine, and today it will be filled to growing room. Here we have hopper that will accept compost from the truck. Show from here. We have a truck full of compost, and now it will start to throw compost to this hopper, and this hopper will move compost to this conveyor. From the other side, we have casing hopper. Here we will put casing soil, and casing soil will be put it to this conveyor, and this conveyor will supply casing soil to head filling machine. The main part of this setup is a head filling machine. This is quite old filling machine, quite simple one, but still it works very good. Filling machine has bunker for compost, bunker for casing soil, valves that we can adjust levels of casing soil and compost. And now the guy start to set up this machine to fill second shelf in the room. Usually, we start with second shelf because it's much easier to control the levels of the compost and the level of casing soil when we fill the room. Here, come here. Here we have this small hopper that distributes compost evenly in bigger hopper, and here we have this leveler, this part that we can adjust by height and choose the amount of compost that we supply to filling machine. Moving it up, we increase the amount of compost. Moving it down, we decrease accordingly amount of compost. Here we choose the level to have our 85 kilograms of compost. It will be like 35, 38 centimeters of height initially on this filling machine to have 85 kilograms. If you need less, you decrease, you set it lower. If you need more compost to square meter, you put it up. Also, it depends of compost structure. If compost is heavy, short, probably you will need smaller amount. If compost is fluffy, you will set height bigger. Here is the bunker for casing soil and the same leveler. They adjust this level to the casing depending of how much casing they want to put to the compost. Normally it's 5-6 centimeters, so they set up it accordingly. Here we have the shafts that I already shown to you. This is standard process of filling with head filling machine, and we will show how it works today. Here we have compost that came from Ukraine. It's phase 3 compost. And first, when we start filling, we should assess the quality of this compost, how it looks like, and according to what we see, we can adjust the level, we can adjust quantity of water. Then we add, sometimes we add water. Now we don't add water because it's quite cold outside. What we see on this compost, it's looks very good, quite tiny, small structure, which is maybe not the perfect, but not bad. And we see on these clumps, they all grown inside, so it's quite a good compost. It's not wet, and at the same time it's not dry. We see that it's good grown with mycelium inside. You can see this compost for phase 3, it should be like red, and if it's black or have a black spots, it's not good. You also can smell this compost. It should have specific mushroom smell, and with experience you will know when compost smells not good. Now this compost is very good. Temperature of this compost close to 20 degrees, which is perfect. Here we see casing soil start to fall down from this hopper and goes to filling machine. On filling machine, we will now adjust the structure of the casing soil according to our needs. Okay. Filling process will take a couple of hours, depend how big the room is, depend how good work of the team. We need 3-4 people to fill the room. With this setup, one person manage filling machine, and 2 persons stay in the room helping put compost in the proper way. We use this film on the surface of a net. We put this disposable film, and this film let us to keep net clean. And also, when we water heavily our compost, water doesn't goes through the net and don't spoil mushroom underneath. So this film is very good practice. The only negative about this film that in the summer when it's hot, it's a little bit harder to keep temperature because compost tend to heat up a little bit more than without this film. But it's very good practice to use this film under the compost. On the second day, when we already watered quite a lot, we have to dig inside the compost and check if we have water on the surface of this film. If we have water that stays on this film, we know that we water it quite heavily, and we should be careful with water, and we should give time to compost to suck this water inside the compost. So when we see that water start to stay on this film, we should be more careful with watering and maybe decrease amount of water that we add and give time for compost to suck this water from the film. Here, after compost is leveled and we have the level of the compost that we choose, compost goes to the pressing valves that press this compost. Now we set up 31 centimeter height of the compost on a leveler, and then it pressed to 20 centimeters by 3 or 4 valves that we have inside this head filling machines. After compost is pressed, casing soil fall to the top of the compost and goes to conveyor with the shaft that mix caking to the compost, to the casing, and goes to growing room. And now they started second shelf. First that will be filled, and compost with casing soil and with caking start to go to the shelf. We filled first shelf in this room, and now we can see that our surface of casing soil is quite uniform. We have good structure of casing soil. Casing soil is wet, and caking mixed in a casing soil very good. There are quite a lot of caking. You can see that we have enough caking in a casing soil, and it will give us quite wide shelves and good quality of mushrooms. Now when we filled compost, we know temperature, and if compost have good temperature, we can start watering straight after we finished filling. If we have quite cold compost, we will need to wait until compost will heat up and then start watering. you can see that level of the compost it's set up by pressing valves, and level of the compost is around 20 centimeters, and another 5 centimeters is casing soil. Casing soil level is 5 centimeters here. Sometimes we can have on a surface some clumps of compost, and it's good if you have ability to remove them after filling, because when you have it like this part will be very white and probably you will not have mushrooms here. So it's better to remove it from the surface of the shelf. Sequence of filling. Normally we start with second shelf because it's easy to adjust height of the compost, it's easy to adjust structure of casing, it's easy to adjust the quantity of caking that we add to casing soil. Then they move to the upper shelf. Here we have 5 shelves. So they, after second shelf, they start to fill top shelf and then go down. It's good to start with upper shelf because in this way we don't throw some particles that fall down from the compost on a shelf underneath. And if we go from top to the bottom, we don't put these particles that fall down to the lower shelves. They are clean. Here you can see that the guy taking compost from the floor and put it back to filling machine. It's not really good practice, and you should get used to it. If you don't have the scissors with this can be okay, but usually we would say it's quite dangerous to take compost from the floor, because on the floor we have a lot of diseases, and it can be dangerous to do like this, to put the compost from the concrete back to the room. What is important that before they started, they cleaned this floor and disinfected this floor, and it's good practice to do it. Now guys finished the filling of this room. It took them around 2 hours to fill 21 ton of compost. They filled 9.5 shelves because compost structure they were lack for half a shelf. They left empty. Now they start to clean the room for leftovers of the compost. They will clean it. So they will do dry cleaning of the room, and then they will wash floors, and they will check all shelves and fix all mistakes. It's small farm, so they have an ability to correct all imperfection manually. So they clean excessive caking from the surface. They will adjust some holes or something that they have, clean the room, close the gates, and after this they will start watering.